It's comics. Silver-haired Bronze Age babe here, yakking about her comic book collection, and today a video about a book that I have finally added to my romance collection, Young Love number 104 from 1973, also known as The One with the Nun. This is kind of a famous cover, and for good reason, right? But this book is also actually kind of interesting for another reason. It's written by Bob Kanigher, so hold your hats. But it actually tells a love story from the point of view of a guy. Throughout this whole thing, we meet this fellow who is actually, sadly, suffering from PTSD. He came back from Vietnam and is having a really rough time, even though really attractive girls are throwing themselves at him repeatedly. But he just doesn't feel it. He doesn't feel the love. And so he's traveling hither and yon, trying to feel the love. And at one point he comes across a resort, and he watches this woman dive into a pool. Look at her, very graceful. And he's like, wow, that's exciting and enticing. And the woman doesn't speak to him, and is kind of nonplussed by him. Which he's like, oh, that's the one for me. So he checks into the resort, and he does meet her, and she just is, kind of not really giving him the time of day. And meanwhile, the gal who works at the hotel is throwing herself at him, and he's like, yeah, thanks, but what about that other gal? But then he's wandering the grounds, and he sees the silent diving woman actually about to be raped. Thank you, Bob Kanigher. He stops that, and is in the process of beating up the would-be rapist when the first words that we hear from the lovely diving woman basically tell him to stop beating the crap out of this guy. And he's like, what? Why? What is, why are you doing this? And she's like, for God's sakes, basically stop being a brute. Okay. And they, kind of have a chit-chat, and they get along, and, are trying to help each other out. And, but he's like, gosh, want to have dinner? Do you want to get together? And she's like, well, maybe not. Oh, wait, remember those ads? Anywho, he goes diving, he goes swimming one day, and luckily she is still around, because he gets tangled up in the seaweed, because that happens a lot. But she dives in and saves him. Are you getting a theme here? And so he's like, you saved my life, there's something I really must tell you. She's like, okay, fine, meet me later. And then it's like, wait a minute, you're not a woman, you're a nun. She's like, yes, I came here on retreat to make the final decision before am I really going to join my order? And like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. So nice to meet you. Sorry, but goodbye. And so our hero is, alone again, naturally. But wait, the gal from the hotel finds him, and he allows himself to be held in her arms. So there it is. There's the one with the nun. And I love having it in the collection. I'm thrilled to have it. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you next time.